we looking, bro?
All good, right?
Alright, kia ora and welcome to another episode of Hori's Tell Stories. As you can see, I'm your host, Coach Jobe. Again, no Cairo voice tarangi.
Yep, no.
Too much the FIFA though, bro.
Doing well.
And to the left of me, I've got Kalen Pongas, not third cousin, not second cousin, first cousin whānau, and that's Levi Ponga.
I've been waiting for the day you fellas cut that out, eh? It's never going to end. But no, kia ora.
If you didn't already know, he also holds the world record for most burpees in 12 hours.
Former world Guinness World Record.
12 hours. Impressive.
Yeah.
Fuck, I was a lot fitter then, bro. Too many pies these days, eh? Fuck.
And to the right of me, whānau, we have a bit of a treat today. We have the Super Rugby Chiefs captain for this weekend.
Man.
100 games for the Chiefs and current All Black number 1153, Anton Lienert-Brown. Kia ora, bro. How you going?
Welcome, bro.
Kia ora, boys. Hopefully not one and done captain. It's taken me 102 games
102
to get the captain's armband.
Yeah.
And obviously a few of the boys resting, so I'm the only senior player left, and that's probably why I got it. But grateful.
Take your flowers, bro. Take your flowers, brother.
Bro, my mother-in-law heard you were coming on now. She was trying to drop me off to the potty. So she could have a meet and greet. Stay home, man. Stay home.
All right, how we start this potty off, as you know, pit and pig whānau, so we're going to go to the left. Ponga.
Yeah, pit boys, fuck, Mrs. has been putting a bit of pressure on me to get the snip out. She reckon, fuck, I've had enough. 3 kids, so pretty much 4, including me, bro. And I had this lady ring me up and she's like, oh, hi, I'm just ringing you up from some medical place. I was like, oh, is it for my shoulder or my knee? She goes, oh, I've just got to confirm a few details first. And I confirmed them and she goes, oh, it's sure for the snip. And I was just like, oh, fuck. So the missus putting the pump on, bro. So that's
your manhood.
It is, bro. Like she goes,
reckon you lose like 2 centimetres too.
I think you know how dogs are a bit different when you get the snip. I don't know what she goes. I've been through so much labours and all this. I was like, but that's natural. Like it's not natural for a man to fucking. It doesn't even hurt. I was like, you don't know. But so that's my pits out. But other than that, bro, not really any pits, bro, because I woke up a Queensland supportables.
Oh.
So bit of a peak. Sorry, boys. New South
Wales, Queensland.
New South.
So I've got 2 New South Wales supporters here.
It hurts, bro.
Just quickly, boys, what do we think of the game last night? All good or what?
60 minutes was all good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like I think the New South Wales team should chuck in Hines as couch coach stuff.
I love a good couch coach. Yes,
but I thought they looked pretty solid for a lot of the time, but near the end of it, just couldn't bring home the bacon whānau.
Bro, it was actually embarrassing. I got off our group chat, because like Queensland had 12 players, bro, and they scored 2 tries in the last 10 minutes. I just love the social media banter. Like half of the people, we ain't even from Queensland or New South, but we just love giving each other shit. But the only positive that there was no Ponga in the Queensland team, just to rub it in even further, bro.
But yeah, so that's pit and pig from me, boys.
Sure, bro. Anton?
Mine's not too deep, but coming Sunday, caught up with my good mate Seb, and it was actually a peak. Went out for dinner, and we found ourselves at the Casa. Went to the Casa. It's probably a bit of a lesson here, but went to the Casa, couldn't lose, just had an outstanding
hot streak
night. Walked out all happy, slept really well that night. The next day went to training. I was like, man, let's run it back. So got my cash out, got my winnings out, went back. Man, walked out of that Casa with my tail between my legs. Lived dragging along the ground, lost all my money. So
on the pokies or blackjack?
Oh, on blackjack. But just a lesson for everyone, eh?
Yep.
If you get up, never go back.
Never go back, bro.
Nah, all in now. All in.
I try to retire.
Better stories, bro. All in.
Hail Marys, eh? Those Hail Mary bets, bro. All in.
Though. Pit, bro?
It's a peak in.
It was a peak, a peak, and then a pit. All at
the same time.
All at the Crown in 24 hours.
Nice. All right, boys. So my pit of the week, obviously, my old security boss passed away, and we had his tangia's funeral today. Old Italian man. Bro used to smoke like a chimney, bro. Chimney outside the nightclubs. He owned. He owned firm security, and he looked after us for those years. and he had like 5 or 6 really hot spots as well.
Yep.
And he looked after everything really well, controlled it really well, kept all the local gangs, bikies, all of that under control. He was well respected in that community as well. But unfortunately, he passed away of a heart attack a couple of weeks ago. We had his tangi today. There was some really good stories, and it was good to see all the old bouncer boys as well.
Those memories.
Those memories, bro.
Memories of their sausage fight in the toilets.
But yeah, he was a really good man, and I remember I was at dinner, and he come over, had a yarn. Titan was only one. I'd been out of security game for about a year. He said, come back whenever you want to. And then finished up conversation, he shot off, and then went to pay for the koi, and the Chinese lady said, man with funny haircut, because he had the mullet, man with funny haircut already paid your food. And I was like, he's just a nice fella, just a good fella, bro.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was the Pit Boys and the Peakers. I've got an exclusive with Kiwi Daddies, bro, to run a Dad's Challenge.
Kiwi Daddy?
Kiwi Daddy's Facebook page, bro.
Nice.
Yeah, because obviously you can't sort of sell too much on there, bro. And
I forgot the page is still going, because I remember the early days.
Yeah, it's like 100,000 people there now.
Yeah, cracked it up.
Yeah, bro, so pretty happy about that. So I'm just trying to rush to get everything up and running. Send the links out, get everyone on the app, workouts, get them familiar with their nutrition and stuff like that, bro. But yeah, I was pretty stoked.
There'll be a challenge too of all those dads on there, they love their feeds, but
there'll be some big fellas in there too, bro. We can't lean to eggs for breakfast, because I hear they're about, what are they, $20 for 4 in New Zealand at the moment, bro?
Oh, bro, New Zealand, inflation, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, all-time high.
Yeah.
Come to Perth, eh? Move to Perth, a lot cheaper here.
Forza got a spot, bro. Post World Cup.
She's man all day, baby.
Yeah. All right, bro. So give us a rundown through your childhood, your upbringing, primary school, secondary school, that's shaped you to be the Anton Lienert-Brown that we have that we know today.
Yeah, I think probably, the biggest thing for me, or my biggest influence is my parents. I guess when you get to this age and you reflect on your upbringing and you realise that everyone has different upbringings, and I sort of realised how fortunate I was to have a solid mum and dad who didn't have a lot. We didn't have a lot, but worked hard to give us all we needed. They were always there to support us, and yeah, I guess I always attribute my success probably back to my mum and dad, and
awesome.
How they brought myself and my older brother and sister up. And the other thing is that's been a big influence on me also, is that I'm half Kasi, so a lot of people think I'm Māori with the brown. We'll talk about that before, but
the hyphenated too, bro.
The hyphenated, but I'm actually half Kiwi, half Samoan, and I think when you grow up, with multicultural, with sort of Parangi or a Pākehā family, and then a Samoan family, and I guess the way they go about things is so different, but when you're growing up, you don't know any different. My mum's family were sort of, really educated.
Were they English?
European? European,
yeah.
Migrated, but they've been in New Zealand for a long time, and they're extremely hardworking, and a lot of my mum's, or my granddad was an eye surgeon.
Oh, wow.
All my mum's family, she got 4 siblings, all pretty much in the medical field.
Yep.
And I guess they had, a bit of money, and their lifestyle was a lot different to my dad's family.
Yep.
And I guess for me, it's probably how I judge a lot of things now. The coolest thing about growing up, with different cultures, was that when you're a kid, you don't see any different, and it's not until you get to a certain age that you realise things are different. But I got to see the best and the worst of both worlds, and I think for me, that's why I I can understand everyone's situations, you know, and I really try, you know, understand people and get to know who they are. And, you know, I realised that, you know, my dad's family didn't have a lot. I understand them as people. I understand my mum's family who, you know, had quite a lot. But for me, like, the most important thing is that you're a good human. And, you know, whether you have a lot or you don't, I think that's the thing that matters most.
Yep.
And like I said, like, you know, with a family that was educated and had a lot of money, like, there was good and bad things about what they did, and the same as with my dad's family that didn't have a lot.
Yep.
There was good and bad things.
Pros and cons to all,
pros and
right?
cons to everything. So I got to see a whole wide range of different things, which is quite cool.
Yeah. So with your Palangi mum and your Samoan dad,
Yeah.
where did you grow up?
Grew up in Christchurch.
Ooh, that hurts, bro.
Yeah, my good mate Cody's got his Crusaders jersey.
Background behind the camera.
Making me want to spew up. But I did grow up there.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, you know, I wanted to be a Crusader when I was growing up. You know, kid that loved rugby, and moved to the mighty Waikato when I was 17. When we finished school, codes and I.
What school, bro?
Christchurch Boys High School.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty proud to have been to that
Terrific.
school, and
Yep.
you know, like, I don't want to brag about it. Dan Carter's, Andrew Murdens,
100%,
Brody
bro.
Retallick's, Matt Todd's,
The Anton Lienert-Brown.
but a lot of second most All Blacks come from that school.
Behind Grammar.
Grammar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was I guess when you go to that school, there's a lot of tradition, and I guess you know the sort of pedigree that's been through those doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bro Caro, if he was here, be beating his chest, bro. He just Christchurch hard, never hit it. Then this fella just, you know, every time he pops off on social media, we just like roll our eyes.
But so do a lot of fellas from Christchurch too, eh? They love it, bro. They love it.
Fair enough, bro. They got a pretty solid history. You know, like I was a Hurricane supporter through the tough years, bro. So, yeah, fair enough. I'd be doing exactly the same, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What position did you play at boys?
So, well, actually growing up, someone that you guys will know, we played for Marist Albion together, but played with Richie Moonga from five years old. We were sort of like family friends, and he's always been a superstar, you know, when he was 5 years old. And
Touch footy and stuff like that as well, eh, bro?
It's unbelievable. So he was our first five, and I was the prop.
Prop?
Prop.
What age was this, bro?
When I was like sort of, you know, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah.
up until about under 12s, I was actually a chubby wee kid.
The Samoan side.
Yeah, too many pies, too much condensed milk. Used to love condensed milk just by itself, unreal. So I always remember when we were playing at Marist Albion together, I was like, man, I want to be a back. Like, I'm sick of scrumming and doing lineouts and stuff and balls. So when I got to Christchurch Boys High School, you know, I wanted to transition to the backs, so I ended up going to league for the year. And it was sort of that because I wanted to go play in the backs, but also my dad said I can't tackle, so I've got to go play league for a year to learn how to tackle. So went to league in year 9.
Yep. What club, bro?
For Celebration Lions. So I played a year of league there, moved to the Centres, and come back to rugby in year 10, and went from pretty much last game of rugby I played prop, and the next game of rugby after league I played 12, and
Nice.
sort of slimmed down a bit, grew a bit taller, and when I moved to the backs.
Yeah,
Nice.
cool, bro. And so obviously after Christchurch Boys, where did you end up after that?
Yeah, so
Or how many years did you do at Christchurch Boys?
So did the full 5 years, so from year 9 to year 13. You know, past NCA level 1, 2, 3.
Ooh.
Codes.
Nice.
Just
Smart side.
I got through it, but lucky enough, when I was at school, the Chiefs come knocking, and
Not the Crusaders, bro.
so the Chiefs come first, and you know, there was, well, they sort of sent their big gun down, or their big guns, and Wayne Smith come to one of my games and chatted to me, and
Backs coach, obviously. Looking
Yeah.
at talent,
and come to my family house, and just the way they treated my family and myself was the winner.
Yeah, fair enough.
The same offers sort of from the Crusaders and the Chiefs, but it was just I guess the way they treated my family and myself. Like, we felt like they're going to look after us, and moved up when I was 17, and that's what they've done.
Yeah, so you moved to Waikato when you were 17?
Yeah.
And what system did you move into there at Waikato? Was it an academy?
Yeah, so it
or?
sort of moved into the Waikato Academy, was sort of signed for the NPC team, but that's at the end of the year, and then was in the Chiefs development squad. Excuse me, don't drink Coke, keep burping. And yeah, so was in the Chiefs development squad, but I actually dislocated my shoulder my last game at school, and then I just tried to rehab it. It was supposed to be sweet, supposed to play club that week, and then I dislocated it again. So I had to get surgery in about March, April that year, 2013, and that ruled out my whole first year up there.
Shit. Yeah.
And I guess this goes back to, people keeping their word, and I guess in high performance sport and rugby or what a professional sport, it's hard to get that these days because it's a business, but Renz and Smithy and the Chiefs really looked after me through that year, and the next year, without playing any rugby since school, they actually put me in the Chiefs wider training group, which was massive, and I was 18 going on 19 then, and they said, "Oh, don't worry, you won't play." Like, I was pretty much player 32 to 38 in the squad. We just want you to come and train every day and use it as development.
At the start of 2014? Or
at the start of 2014,
yeah.
And it was crazy how it happened, but halfway through the season they had all these injuries, and I made my debut for the Chiefs at 18 years old, before I'd played any club or NPC.
Yeah.
So I guess when you go back to that decision and that feeling we got from them, and they sort of promising that they'll look after me, they really did, and I always thank them for that. Through that tough year, they could have got rid of me, but they stuck by my side and looked after me. Yeah.
Do you think that, you go, Paul?
No, so I guess that first game being called in, was it unexpected, last minute thing, or did you kind of have a bit of time, bit of notice period before you knew you were playing, or did they kind of chuck you in last minute, like a week before?
I sort of knew that there was a few injuries, and we actually went on tour. It was my first tour, and we played against the Force here. Yeah. And I was supposed to debut that week. I was on the bench, and I didn't get on, so I didn't get a debut. And then we went to Pretoria, Johannesburg, for the next game, and I debuted on the wing against the Bulls. So.
Yeah, I remember you were at the wing there. I think that was a draw game in Pretoria.
Yeah, it was a draw. Yeah,
it's
a good memory. So draw, and I think we lost to the Force here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this fellow would know, bro. He's on the couch watching a lot of rugby.
I'm a couch coach, bro. Couch coach. But just take it back to that Chiefs model, bro. Do you think that obviously Wayne and Renz took over from Fozzie?
Yeah,
I believe. So they were trying to start something new. Do you think that that's why they sort of kept you in the loop, bro? That you were a part of what they were looking to build for the Chiefs? Because they sort of cleaned it out, didn't they?
I sort of, I'm not too sure, but it's what I do know is that Wayne Smith, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, coaches of all time in rugby, and he's a smart man. And if you sort of looked at the Crusaders at the time and what they did, they had talent in their own region, and then through their brand they brought down a lot of talent. So rugby in Christchurch was real strong, and the person who started that model was Wayne Smith.
Yeah.
So he was part of the early days of the Crusaders' success, and so they didn't only have their own talent in their region, but they'll drag all this talent from all over New Zealand through, I guess, a lot of work, but yeah, like it's just how they talent ID'd, and they were the only franchise doing it at the time. So you think, oh, how are the Crusaders so strong? Well, they were actually, like, their foundations are really strong, so they're getting a lot of players in, and Smithy started that, and then when he went to the Chiefs, he's like, well, I started that down there, and he started up there, and around that time, so myself, Damien McKenzie, and a guy, James Tucker, who's a gun player, just been unlucky with a lot of injuries, all moved up from the Canterbury region, and like at that time it was unheard of. Like, why would you move away from, you know, a winning team?
Is David McKenzie from?
He's from Gore, but he went to school in Christchurch.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Bloody Christchurch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we go back to that 2014 year in Pretoria. How did the rest of that year sort of pan out for you?
Yeah, it was, man, like I was 18 years old, and I was excited, I was nervous, and I put a lot of expectation on myself to perform. And I guess for me as a young player, all I wanted to do was, I guess, you know, feel a part of the team. You know, I was 18, like, you know, there's all these guys that I've looked up to, and I just wanted them to think, oh, like, this guy's, you know, got it, he can be a part of the team. And the funny thing when you think about that is that's none of their thoughts, that's all in your head. And, you know, I reckon my debut for the Chiefs has been one of my biggest lessons, but it didn't go too well. I didn't play, you know, the way I wanted to play, and
we hear that often with the rugby players that we got on.
Yeah, and
debut just didn't go their way.
Yeah, and the hard thing for me was, you know, the last game I played was at high school, and I guess I was the guy, you know, the go-to guy, and I really struggled with, you know, not being the guy that eats the ball all the time, or not being able to make line breaks and stuff.
World-class players.
Yeah. So like, it took a long time for my mentality to shift, but yeah, I sort of, after that debut, I went to a little bit of a dark place, because, you know, I felt like I let the team down. I was like, man, do I even belong here? You know, and all those things go through your head, and then you think people are judging you.
And you're a kid too.
Yeah, and I'm 18 years old, and yeah, I guess I learned a lot from that debut, and it helped me a lot further down the track in my career. And I guess that's why I have a lot of sympathy for when I see kids debut at the moment, or, you know, like young kids that get, you know, shit all the time. Like, one example is like Joseph Wally at the moment. Like he's 19 years old, and he's got the expectation on the world on his shoulders, and like, you know, what a player he is, but you can see like there's a lot of pressure on him, and like that's why, like, I can understand it, and you guys can probably understand it, but, you know, when there's people ripping into a 19-year-old kid, like, social media. What's you know, what a lot of 19-year-old kids are, you know, at uni on the piss, you know, having fun, but like, here's this kid who's
the pressure of a nation of two different codes.
Exactly, so it's crazy.
In the World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, and saying that, bro, do you stay on social media, or do you try to stay off it to ignore all those comments you might receive?
Yeah, like, I think you just, like, learn. Like, I'm at a stage now where you don't really care, but man, like, we're human like anyone else. We've got,
100%,
you know, I've got Facebook to connect with family. I've got Insta, so, you know, you see stuff, like, you see, it's hard not to see things, but I guess you know, I'm 28 now. I've done it for 10 years, and you sort of got the tools in place to be all good. But, you know, when you're a kid just starting out, and you say you're 18 years old and you have a shit debut, and then there's 100 comments saying, "Oh, this guy's shit, get rid of him." Like, how do you handle that?
Exactly.
You know, so
would be hard, bro.
So you built some resilience, obviously, from your debut.
Yeah.
Did you move into the ITM at the end of the year after that Chiefs season?
Yep. Played under NZ under 20s in 2014. Which was like, which helped me with like a big confidence boost, because sort of went from super back to the under 20s grade.
Where was that held?
It was in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. so which was good. And then played NPC with Waikato.
Yep.
It was Brad Weber at 9, myself at Tamo at 10. Well, we'd switch it up. I'll go 10, he'll go 12. Even now I'm joking. No, he was at 10. I was at 12, and Sean Stevenson at fullback. So
for the 20s.
No, for the minor squad, we were young as.
So, yeah, okay,
like,
yeah.
We was all like 19. She was 18. Webby's a little bit older.
Yeah. So, how did you go moving into that 2015 season? Did you have a little bit more confidence from your first season out?
Yeah. It's like slowly built. Again, I didn't play. I was in the wider training group again in 2015.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess had a little bit more confidence. Played a few more games, and went to the under-20s World Cup again in Italy. So we lost in the semis in 2014.
So you went 2 years.
Yeah, so I was a year young in 2014. Went again in 2020. And we won it in Italy, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, that brings us to your I believe it's your breakout year on the 2016 and 2017 sort of Chiefs team, and you're up against some crazy competition. There's the Riding Crotties, Sonny Bill Williams. New Zealand rugby was just littered with talent and midfielders, and so yeah, give us a rundown on that, bro, on your 2016-17 years.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah, I think you go to 2014, with that debut, and you're 18, and you're like, man, I don't even know if I'm ready for this level. Then 2015 was a little bit slow. Like winning the under-20s World Cup was a massive, I guess, like boost.
Yep.
And then 2016, I played a lot more for the Chiefs. And in all honesty, like I was playing all good, but
at centre,
I was at like 12 or centre, and like I was playing all good, but like I wasn't playing at my best. Like I still wasn't at my best. And sort of there was how I got into the AB squad. So I didn't play in the June series. Then I didn't get named in the championship squad. And then Sonny did his Achilles in 7, so he was out. And then I got called in as his replacement. And I was like, sweet, got in there. Lima Sopawanga was around at the time. I was so fizzed to be in there. I was like,
give us a rundown. Where were you? And what were your reactions, and who did you call first?
Yeah, it was like it didn't happen the traditional way. So like you don't find out like if you're in the squad until it's like named on TV. So still to this day, yeah. So like you'll be watching on TV and they'll like read your name out. So that's how like traditionally it's done. So they named the squad. Sonny got injured, and then I got called in, and
who called you?
The manager, Shandy, called me. I was like, oh, like it's crazy, like you're in like injury cover. And I think at the time there was like 2 of us like battling it out. It was myself and Sita Tumanivalu, yeah. And so like I wasn't like in there, but I was like, oh, that's mean, like what a cool opportunity. And then we did a week's training camp, and then I got chosen to be about a part of the squad. And again, like it was crazy, like great 4 hours. Like I was just buzzing to be in there. And like told, like my parents I'm in there. But again, like my expectations, like just so grateful to be there. But I was like, oh yeah, like sweet, you'll be holding the pads, and just like mean to be around the environment. Didn't expect to play at all. And then our first week in Sydney, George Moala and went down, and then Crotty went down in the game. So the second week of the championship, I ended up starting at 12, and that's probably when it...
Who was that against, bro?
Against Australia. Yes, so it was for the Bledisloe in Wellington. Yeah. So like it just, like within a month, I sort of went from being like, oh yeah, like Super was all good, to starting at 12 for the ABs, and that's when it all sunk in, and rung mum and dad first, and they were crying and all that, and it's like, it's hard to explain. Like you've dreamt of being an All Black for your whole life, and like, you know, I thought you had to be Superman to sort of get there, and I was like, I'm here, like it's going to happen. It was crazy.
Did you sort of recall on those memories from 2014 on your Chiefs debut, bro? Did you think, here we go again?
Yeah.
Am I going to make the same mistakes again, or had you built a bit more resilience to this new situation?
Yeah, like it's actually good you asked that question, because I guess when I was talking about, like, you know, the big learnings that helped me down the track, and those learnings from my Chiefs debut helped me for my AB's debut, because in a very similar way, I was sort of injury cover and then got my opportunity like quite quickly. So in a way, like, it felt as though I was thrown in the deep end a little bit. But one promise I made to myself was that when I was on my Chiefs debut, like, I made a couple of mistakes, went into my shell, and didn't, I guess, show, like, or express my full ability, my full potential. And I was like, you know, that's the one promise I made to myself in my AB's debut. Like, no matter what happens, I want to express myself, and I guess, you know, to be at your full potential, you have to do that. So that's one promise I made to myself. And I remember during that week, you know, I was getting a bit of slack because people were like, who's this guy? Like, this guy should have been picked over him and stuff like that. But, you know, through all that noise, that's just the one thing I focused on. And I guess going, you know, from a Chiefs debut that wasn't so good, I had AB's debut that I was pretty happy with.
Yeah.
Did you any players you really looked up to growing up, or even when you were in the side playing alongside them? Was there anyone that you really looked up to?
Yeah, like Sonny, like sort of through my high school years, like, he was my idol.
Yeah.
Because he's done it all. He's the man. And I guess something that also connected with me is that he's half Samoan, half Kiwi, just like myself. So I was like, oh, there's a half Kasi doing his thing, and I like looked in the mirror. I was like, are we cousins? Nah.
Your mate's not a sharp
do you think, would you ever love to give rugby league a go? Do you think like that could be something in the future that you'd love to try? I'm sure the Warriors would love their niece and incentives, bro.
Oh, bro, like a lot of us rugby boys love rugby league, and yeah, I would love to give it a go. But yeah, I guess I'm 28 now, and like it's a big risk, you know, to go try crack it over there and then come back. So yeah, like I love watching league, and I'd love to see, you know, the ins and out of how it works, and to see if I can go over there and perform.
That sort of the wild areas.
Yeah. But
it makes it's cracked me up that you did bring up that league question, and you said Sonny was one of the guys that you looked up to growing up, because your game sort of mimicked his a little bit as well, like a lot of hole punching. I think one year, correct me if I'm wrong, you had like the highest offloads in the Super Rugby or something like that. Yeah, like when my game's going, like, and can offload well, it must be a half Kasi thing. Must be in the genes. And I thought it may have been influence from Sonny.
No, it must be because it was from the same gene line. So cousins.
Just not those haircuts.
You got that Ponga step, bro?
Don't even start
the prime days, fine days.
So yeah, cool, bro. We'll just go back to the your debut. Obviously, it was a good one. Did you score a try on your debut?
No, I didn't.
Didn't?
But
because that usually tops off a good debut, bro. Outside backs usually.
No, I didn't. But in like my first touch, I set up. I offloaded to Izzy Dag, and he scored. So,
yes. Yeah. Yep.
That was
a defining moment in that game, I believe.
I was like probably in the first 5 minutes, and you know, like when you're nervous and you want to do something, and to do that was like a massive confidence boost, and then you're sort of away.
Like big stage,
it'll
G you up a bit.
And it sort of shuts the haters up too when you do it nice and early on, bro.
Yeah.
Everyone that's rubbishing you through the week, bro, you said, yeah, take that out.
Yeah.
Do you prefer 12 or centre? Do you have a preference, or you don't mind?
Nah, honestly, I really don't mind. Like there's slight differences. Like at 12, you're more involved. You're more of a ball player. Like you probably have 30 involvements in the game, whereas at 13, you might only have like 10 to 15. But I guess at 13, the involvements you do have are probably like more critical, so like the last pass or that spot tackle. So
it's crucial, that centre spot tackle, especially with the the fullback and the blindside wingers coming around your channel as well. You've got to be really on in your defence, ain't you?
Yeah. So there's slight differences, but I don't mind. I'd just rather be out there.
Awesome. And so the rest of the year for the All Blacks, bro, walk us through that.
After
debut.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I just got a belief in myself. After that debut, and I debuted, and I wasn't really expecting to play much. Come off the bench the next game, and then I started in RG over there at 13, and then pretty much from that game I started for the rest of the year. So it was just crazy how everything happened, and how I spoke about at Super, I wasn't like quite at my best. Or like you have the feeling when like as a player, or like like your full potential, and it was just I don't know what happened, but sort of that 216 year, and the team was going mean, and like Bodie Barrett was the best player in the world, and you had Izzy Dag, Ben Smith, and then obviously Dane Coles is ripping it up. So I was just part of this team that was just playing unbelievable, and somehow I just fitted in, and I felt like I was playing my best rugby for the first time since school in the All Blacks, which is crazy.
So that's a long gap obviously from school to the All Blacks without sort of realising that you are playing some solid footy.
Yeah. I don't. I'm hard on myself, and I know that's a work on for me, and probably a lot of athletes out there, but I always want to be at my best, and that's just the way I am.
Nothing wrong with that Kobe mentality on yourself.
Mamba.
100%.
So let's move into 2017, bro. How did that year start off for you?
Yeah, like after a massive 216 year, I guess, at the start of 216, no one knows who you are, and you play a bit of Super, like a few people know you, and then like once you hit the All Blacks frame, like it's just on another level. It's hard to explain. Like you make your debut for the Chiefs, and you get a few text messages. You make your debut for the All Blacks, so you get 500, like
500 cousins.
Yeah, 500 cousins. Or like people from that coached you at under fives, and it's and you just see like the meaning behind it, and how much people appreciate it, and so I guess started 2017, like people sort of know who you are, and that's sort of a buzzy transition,
Can't even go to countdown anymore, bro.
Yeah. So
part of that black jersey legacy for life. So it's massive.
Yeah. So it started off a little bit slow. Like probably had a bit of a hangover from 216, and sometimes they call it like the second year blues, and was sort of confidence was pretty sky high, and I was like, did well on the international stage, like should carve it up at Super, and first half of that season I went with the wrong mindset, and I got caught behind a little bit. And
what do you mean caught behind, bro? Like in regards to like maybe your fitness?
Or probably not like my fitness, but just like the form, like just probably went with the wrong mindset, and like, you know, sort of, I guess like you as an athlete, like you build your confidence and you build your game, and yeah, I don't know, I probably underestimated, you know, what it takes, you know, to just play super week in and week out, like
because you had an experience that yet, had you?
And
week in out of super.
Yeah, so like, and again, it's probably the expectations I placed on myself. I was like, you know, if you play well in the ABs, or like, you know, if you're starting ABs, well, you got to go back and carve for super. That sort of mindset, like you're dropping down a level. And I was only 21 at the time, but like that's another lesson learned, that you know, the ABs, all I was thinking, just do your job, like real simple mindset. Whereas, you know, I try to go back to super and make a massive impact, and it just didn't work out that way.
Overplayed your hand, like in blackjack.
My hand. Yeah. Like at blackjack on Monday. Yeah, walked out with nothing.
And how were the Chiefs going in 2017, bro? You guys were going pretty good though, eh?
Yeah, we're always like through that sort of 14 until Rennes finished up, like we were sort of making semi-finals, but we never got to the finals, but we were going good.
Yep. No, awesome. And All Blacks that year as well, bro?
Yeah, All Blacks was big that year. We had the Lions series.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up.
Which is like, so they don't do it now, but that's like halfway through, well, like 3/4 of the way through super season. So you break for June, and man, that was it. I wasn't prepared for how big those series are. Like, I underestimated it massively, like how many fans they get and
every
stuff.
12 years, eh?
Yeah,
12 years, it's a long time.
I was going to say, not a lot of New Zealand rugby players get to experience that. All Blacks, obviously every 12 years, you know, your career's only 5 to 6 at most.
Because there was that, and then the last one before that was that time Carter tuned up, eh?
Yeah.
So it's a long time.
Yeah, true that.
How was that, man?
No, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Like, I guess my experience with the ABs the year before, like, you know, like around a lot of media, like this just took things to another level. And, you know, fortunate enough to go to the World Cup in 2019, and the Lions series is on that level, you know.
Same level.
On the same level, and so many people come out to support the Lions. Like, you know, for the third test at Eden Park, it was the first test at Eden Park, like, I'd run out a couple of times and all you see is black. I swear, like, I ran out and all I could see was red. And I was like, holy, like, what's going on here?
Or were you on the bench on the first game?
First game was on the bench. Sonny and Crotts started, and then I started the next two because Crotts did his hammy.
Yeah.
So we won the first, lost the second.
Is that when Sonny got a red card?
Yeah.
Yeah, so wasn't that early? That was early.
Early
like
on.
10 minutes?
10 minutes or
Yeah,
10 minutes.
so that was that was disappointing. My first loss in the AB's jersey.
Yeah.
So, that was tough to take, and like, man, we were getting a heap of shit, eh? Like, I was like,
So you started at second 5 for game 2?
Nah, centre.
So Sonny was at 12?
Yeah.
So obviously the defensive dynamic sort of fell back on yourself. A few holes around in the midfield without Sonny there.
Yeah.
Or having 14, obviously.
Without his big frame. But we actually, we got through that game all right, and we did enough to win it. But I think they beat us by like 2 points. They kicked the penalty goal. That was close. And then you went back. So obviously Sonny was banned, and then Nani Laumape and myself started the test 3, and obviously drew that one. So it was a disappointing experience, but a crazy experience.
But an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Something that a lot of people will never experience.
Yeah.
Alright, bro, so from there, let's go to the Rugby World Cup in 2019, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Walk us through that, bro.
Yeah, Japan's like an unreal place, and I guess like every test for the ABs is big, but like I see like the Lions series in the World Cup, but they go to another level, and yeah, like we were like managed to. I was sort of like from the Lions series, I was like on the bench a lot, or like mixing up, starting and stuff, and I guess by the time the World Cup come around, I ended up in a starting position in the midfield, and they were still chopping and changing. I was playing 12 or 13 and stuff like that, but it was all good, and yeah, it was a crazy experience. Like we got through the pool games all good,
unscathed.
Like we were playing really good footy. Like yeah, it was like I remember before the quarters, like we were nervous as because. And this is how it normally happens, but all our
Ireland in the quarter?
Yeah, in the quarter, but all our family were coming over for the semi-finals. So that's the added pressure like that sort of gets put on you.
Make it three.
They turn up
my ticket.
They don't. So and you hear stories about 2007, like it's just the Kiwis, like they're like, oh yeah, if they're gonna book tickets, like yeah, we're gonna book semis and finals, and like if you don't make the semis, like everyone's flying over and you're flying home. So I guess there's that added pressure, but we got through that quarter final all good. And
You smacked Ireland, didn't you?
Yeah. We played well, and obviously against England, they dominated us. And
Give us a rundown, bro. Like, what was your guys' sort of game plan moving into that semi-final?
yeah, like things were like tracking well.
Expansive game? Was that a lot of the talk around
It
the
was
team?
a bit of like a balance of a kick game and a running game. Like every week we do an attack plan and a defense plan around what their strengths and their weaknesses. So
What did you guys sort of determine that their strengths were? The line out?
yeah,
The scrum?
the line out. Their set piece they were very good at. Obviously they had a good kicking game, and we knew they had like big ball runners, and we sort of spoke about that they can start hard and fast, and look, we prepared to the best we could.
Yeah.
But like I guess at that level and in those moments, like it comes down to those small percenters, and man, like they just got off to a really good start, and in all fairness, they played unbelievable.
They played really well.
Played really
hard
well,
to watch.
and we didn't.
Yeah.
And I just at that World Cup, like we played well against South Africa, played well against Ireland.
That's right.
Didn't play well against England, and then we next week for third and fourth we played really well
Smashed against Wales.
So like, but it just shows like that's the hardest thing about World Cup. Like you got to play to win a World Cup. When it comes to knockout phases, you got to play three of your best games. Like you can't afford to have an off day.
The weight of a nation too. It's just they seem really aggressive on their game. The England side, like they're quite solid. I remember watching it. Just it's hard to watch those big games.
That Marjo Atoje was very good in the line out that game too.
Yeah.
They looked after their set piece well.
Mm.
Did you feel like you were involved in that game, bro? Like being such a forward-dominated match?
Yeah, like got involved like quite a bit. But yeah, I guess their forwards did a good job, and I think it was Ford and Farrell. Like
Farrell.
they kicked really well. I think like, and everyone watching would know that there was just that feeling like we weren't at our best, and like we were trying hard, but it just seemed like they had answers for everything we're doing. So it was just one of those games, and it's unfortunate it was the semi-final of the Rugby World Cup.
And that's rugby sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether you're the All Blacks,
South Africa, and they go on to win it. Like it's just one of those things.
And I think I mean there's no excuses, but like when we beat South Africa in the first game, and then first pool game, like that was massive for us, and what didn't do us a favour was that Japan beat Ireland.
Mm.
And I guess you know, in our pool, like we would have been better off finishing second, because then you got to play Japan, Wales, and then go to the final where we had Ireland, England, and then you got to play a final. So like in a little bit of a way, like it comes down to the draw you get. But at the end of the day, if you want to win the World Cup, you got to beat the best team in the final. So yeah,
on the day.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So the current Chiefs squad. Obviously, there's been a bit of a turnaround. So 220, he's lost every single game.
Yeah.
Is that when the Blues won it, boys? Just to refresh my memory.
Oh, they won.
Was it 220?
There was 2 comps.
Oh, surely you remember
the Aotearoa and
they haven't won it in like 20 years.
Or was it
Aotearoa. Yeah. So yeah, why the turnaround, bro? Or what's contributed to the turnaround?
Yeah, I guess, you know, at the time it was tough, but we had a really young squad, and you know, I've got to give a lot of credit to you know, our head coach Clayton McMillan. Like, he's just done, you know, an unbelievable job with the squad, and installing like belief back in us, and realizing that it's going to be a journey to where we are now, and you know, just a lot of respect for what he's done. And probably at the time, you know, Renz and Smithy implemented a lot of, you know, that Chiefs mana, you know, what we're about as a team, and I guess that carried on, but there wasn't a lot of understanding for the new players that come in. Like in 2012 and 2013, they started it, and they did a lot of work in understanding like culture and what these values mean, and you know, like he piko e taniwha, like every bend there's a chief, like what that means to us, and stuff like that. And they put a lot of time into that. And then I guess over the years, and when Renz left, like there's all these new players, but we didn't spend a lot of time in understanding, you know, our key values, and understanding Chiefs mana, and what the jersey means. So when Clayton come in, he spent a lot of time doing that, and he just brought a freshness about him. He themes up every week, and you know, he really resonates with the younger players. Obviously, you know, we're in a different generation now. You know, the way rugby's changed from when I was 18 to now is crazy. You know, you're dealing with different athletes, you're dealing with different mindsets, and I guess you have to motivate players in different ways. Like the game's shifted, so he understands that, and he's done an incredible job. And then going back to all those losses we had, you know, they were close. Like we were giving it our all, but obviously we weren't winning. But what you're probably seeing now is that at the time, like I reckon half our squad or 3/4 of our squad were around like between 18 and 23. Like we've still got the youngest squad in the comp, and we are 3 years on from that point when we were losing all the time. So I think like what they normally say, like, is that I guess if you look at Crusaders and all their success, like they've managed to keep a lot of players for a long time, and they have a lot of caps to their roster. And that's what we have now. We've got players that have had 3-4 years experience at Super Rugby.
Yeah.
They have, you know, 40, 50 caps to their name, and they know what it's about. And I guess that's the sort of journey that Clayton took us on, along with the understanding, along with the freshness he brought, and then also levelling up, you know, the environment, the management, and stuff like that. Because I guess to be a good team, like, it's not just the 23 that run out, it's the 1 to 36 players, it's the coaches, it's the physios,
staff,
the doctors,
the
it's the organisation.
Yeah.
And I guess when you look at teams that, you know, build dynasties, that's what they have. They have an organisation, and I think that's what Donk's trying to do at the Chiefs. And I know we haven't won a title yet, but that's what we're aiming to do.
As long as you beat the Blues and Crusaders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But did you feel that what you're creating at the moment sort of mirrors what what Rennie and Smitty were doing at that time? So you've seen this sort of process work before so that you can help instill that confidence into these young bucks as well, bro?
Yeah, I think so. Like, you know, like Clayton's, he's an awesome coach, along with the assistant coaches as well.
Who's your assistant coach, bro?
Roger Randall. You know Roger
yes.
Randall.
He
Coach.
was down at Kalamunda last night. Yeah.
David Hill.
Oh, yeah. First of all.
Paul Feeney.
So a lot of the
Ross
old boys.
Filippo.
Oh, a lot of the old boys. Yeah.
So like we've got a real good coaching group. But yeah, like, I think going back to, you know, what Renz and Smitty did, you know, they worked really hard to bring their understanding. That they brought a freshness about them as well. And I mean, like, Donk's not the same, but I think what he shares is like, you know, he's got the same qualities as them as a coach. Like, he's got his own style.
Yep.
But I think if you look at like the values and qualities he carries, it's similar. Yeah.
All right, bro. Life after footy. Have you thought what's next?
Other than the was. After
Oh yeah, league whānau. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, like I guess like rugby's, and this is probably what I've thought about over the last couple of years. Like rugby's sort of like we do things in reverse to what you normally do in your job. Like I started playing rugby when I was 18, but you know, all going well, I'll play till I'm 35, so I'll have it will be a long career, but I'll have a 17-year career in rugby, but when I'm done, like, well, then I have to start something new, and like, so basically what I'm trying to say is like, by the time I'm finished, a lot of my mates will start their earning potential, they'll start earning a lot, and I'll be starting again, so I think the key for me, like for life after footy, is to invest well as I can, to sort of hopefully have a passive income for myself and my family after rugby, and then I guess if you do that well, then you have options. And yeah, I haven't really thought about what I really want to do, but I think the plan for me is to invest as well as I can whilst I'm earning a good wage for the times when I won't have that wage, but hopefully a passive income for my friends for my family and myself, and then there won't be as much pressure to go out and have to do something.
Yep. Sorry, mate. So partner and kids, or?
Nah, just partner.
Yep.
So.
Off the market, ladies. Mother-in-law's gutted.
Yeah. And I just on that like topic, that's what I'm like passionate about for all rugby players to do is the hard thing is like, you know, financial literacy is different for everyone.
Yep.
And I know that. Like I was lucky because I had the Pākehā side of my family, and I learned, you know, that spending like wisely is important and
make your money work for you.
Yeah, and then that sort of side of things. But I totally understand, you know, why for a lot of our Pacific Island and Māori people, it's not, because family is more important and looking after them there and now is more important. But I think it's crucial that you get that balance right throughout your career, especially for our Māori and Pacific Islander boys, because there is that potential that, you know, if you invest well, that you can have a passive income for life for you and your family, and you don't just look after them during your career, but you can look after them forever. So
generation.
For a generation.
We had somebody, Aaron Bancroft, and he talked a lot about trying to set players up for after rugby and things like that. So it's very important.
Speaking of investments, bro, you've got a little venture with Damien McKenzie and the Beaver, Stephen Donald. Walk us through that, bro.
Yeah, Grins. Sorry, I should have brought some over. It's a low-calorie RTD.
Oh, beautiful.
There we go. Only sold in New Zealand, 5 flavours.
Yeah. Speak to me, bro.
Yeah, and just something fun we got into, and it's just growing, and we were sort of like, oh, it'd be fun to start up a drink, and we decided to start an RTD called Grins, and the Grins is named after Damien when he kicks. A little bit
Did
of
he make that call, bro? Was he like, bro, let's call it grins after me? Or did you kind of have a...
Yeah, he hates himself, eh? He's like, yeah, let's do it.
Do you know the backstory behind the grin, bro?
Yeah, I do actually. He was sort of like, at the time he wasn't like kicking that well, and he saw one of our mental skills coach DG. It's actually true. I'm not taking the piss. True story. And they had a meeting. He's like, oh, what's going on? Like, are you enjoying your kicking, blah blah blah? He's like, oh, not really. Like, you know, like feeling the pressure. And he's like, oh mate, like, why don't you just smile before you kick? Like that's what he said.
Yeah.
And
just fucking smile. And
just smile and be happy. And he's just done it ever since.
Wow.
Obviously, it's working a treat.
Little trademark.
Yeah,
It's like the Johnny Wilkinson, bro, trademark.
I just always
Grin, bro.
always tell him, make sure you brush your teeth before you get it. Sometimes little brown marks out. It's embarrassing, man.
Cracks up, bro. A little grin, a little smirk out the side, bro. It's on.
Everyone's putting the Snapchat filters up again on the TV screen on them now, eh?
Yeah.
No, awesome, bro. Pong, you got any more questions for the bro?
Yeah, actually, bro, so sorry, you were speaking about caps. So, All Black caps, how many caps for the All Blacks? Did you
60.
So, think hopeful to get that 100?
Oh, bro, man, like I'll work hard for it. And the thing that I always live by is that, like, I control what I can control. Like, I know there's a World Cup this year, and I always say, like, nothing's, guaranteed. That's just the way I think. But what I can get, what I do want to guarantee myself is I work as hard as I can to give myself the opportunity. So
Yeah. Awesome, bro.
One other thing, bro, I guess coming up to World Cup, every country does step up. Is there one country who you personally think's like the biggest threat at the moment?
Oh man, there's like Ireland and France have been over the last couple of years playing unbelievable footy, and you got to say that they'll be favourites at the start of the tournament. Well, just the way that they've played, but yeah, hopefully I'm in the ABs and
Smash them, bro.
cover it up.
Yeah.
Smash the layout.
Yeah.
Alright, bro, we're going to get into a few quick fire questions, bro?
Yo.
If you can't answer it, I'll just move to the next one.
So it is.
Who's the biggest hitter you've ever played against?
Ooh, played against or with Johnny Foldy. He played at Chiefs. He can hit.
Oof. Who's the hoariest teammate you've ever had?
Oh, bro. Tawera Kubalo.
Yeah, fuck. What was your favourite rugby moment to date?
Probably AB's debut.
Nice. And what advice would you give to an aspiring young rugby player, bro?
I'm massive on like vulnerability, so just be vulnerable and go after it. And I see in a lot of young athletes that what holds them back is fear. So I always say, like, the antidote to fear is vulnerability. Like, be vulnerable, put yourself in those spaces of judgment, because that's a win to do that.
And the what are they called? Teddy Roosevelt's the man in the arena.
That's it.
Yeah, bro. I'm just gonna chuck one more in here, bro. Who's the heartiest Northland rugby player you've ever played against?
Not you.
Northland. Dillbags.
Dillbags. Oh, whangarei boys.
Yeah.
Nah, Anton, thank you very much, bro. On behalf of the Warriors, we
Solid,
just
bro.
just give you your flowers, bro, and we really appreciate your time, and we wish you all the best for your future, and hopefully we can bring us home a World Cup, brother?
Hopefully, we'll see. Thanks, brothers. Appreciate it.
Cheers, bro.
You gonna do a Coach Wisdom, bro? Or
No, Coach Winslow.
You got any quotes you go by, bro, by any chance? If not, all good.
They're sort of man in the arena one.
Yep.
Oh shit. There's a few I can't think of them off the top of my head.
It's
but
hard.
I-
Finish us off with our white, bro.
Yeah.
All good. We out whānau.
Ka kite whānau.
Bit of Nate dog.
Nah, cheers, bro. Mean, brother.
Cheers,
Oh, man.
Thank you.
Mean.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
It's us. We out.
Cheers, whānau. Mean.
Definitely turn it off already if we're gonna go on. Nah, fuck shot, bro.
Shot, bro. That was mean.
Fuck
Gangster.
There you go for a piss. Hold on.
Fair enough.
Fuck, I actually feel like a bear.
Hey,
Oh,
Polly's mean, bro.
Thanks, bro.
when you said Cass, I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's better with Cairo here, bro, because like he sort of just like has the main questions, bro. I just try to write as much as I could, like going off what he does.
Yeah.
And then he just lets me and Paul just go hard, bro. And with rugby ones, I like all the rugby and league ones.
Yeah.
Like I'll just start chiming in, but he always brings us back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so for this one, I just had to.
You did well.
I had to hold off just on my, because I just like going on little rants, bro. Yeah. Oh, did you go to school this, or did you play with this player? And yeah.
Bro, you're just cracking me up at the start, eh? A lot of you know each other well, just bands.
Oh yeah.
I think that the best one I reckon was fucking you and D-Mac, bro. We were rival schools. They were Christ College. They were our rivals.
Oh yeah.
And they used to fucking. We used housemates.
Oh yeah, we're like best mates.
Bro, there was a lot of insight, bro. That was huge, bro. I never knew any of that.
Oh yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. One thing I am disappointed at myself, I didn't write down how'd you feel after the Chiefs wins? Premierships, Super Rugby titles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Were they right?
The
Super Rugby titles?
212.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I moved up 213. So I wasn't officially in the squad.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't officially in the, like I was training, but I wasn't officially in the squad.
Yeah. And we got a
Bro, this should be episode, because if that 75 hard was, my one should be 37, eh?
because you're gonna have to think of your wisdom now, bro. Because this is your quota.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bro. This is.
Like Catch a Fire.
You can have a read, bro. You can have a read through them if you want, bro. Catch a Fire, LAB.
Oh yeah.
Big Daddy, Jeremy Thrush, Richard Kahui.
Brush your teeth every day.
Right, so, because yours and Kairo's 35, 75?
Yeah.
36, so my one should be 37.
Yeah.
And the other one with the bro should be 38, eh?
Oh, yeah.
So this will be 39. Hey.
Did you turn those off codes now?
I can't fit this
No.
on, but you doesn't know.